followed
GG.
was an utter massacre as the surrounded and overwhelmed
GG, gone. Yeah, they're all gonna get slaughtered
Ottomans
now.
tried to swim across the river,
Oh.
only to drown in it.
Oh, man.
With the cohesion of the defenders broke.
Woo. Don't look chopped today. Eugene of Savoy. I look quite yellow in this video. Very yellow. I've been saying in all my videos that I mixed, but you haven't really been seeing it because I live in like high UV radiation areas, so my body's constantly tan, you know, protecting myself. But it's winter, so my skin kind of looks more
Following their decisive victory at the Second Battle of Mohacs, Imperial forces reconquered much of the central parts of the former Kingdom of Hungary. Emperor Leopold secured further diplomatic victories in the following period, as the Hungarian Diet agreed to make the House of Habsburgs the hereditary kings of Hungary. In the spring of 1688, the Transylvanian nobility proclaimed an end to their Ottoman vassal status, to become the subjects of the King of Hungary again. Young Eugene of Savoy fought both capably and valiantly in the previous years, and he continued to do so in 1688, when he participated in the siege of Belgrade. The imperial forces under the command of Elector Max Emanuel of Bavaria captured the fortress on September the 6th. Eugene took a bullet to the knee during the siege, which forced him out of service until the beginning of 1689.
a bullet to the knee. He is like extremely lucky that didn't hit. I'm pretty sure when your like vital veins go through your legs, what the heck is it called? I don't know, I forgot. But he's lucky, I'm pretty sure.
By the early months of 1689, the Habsburgs succeeded in reconquering most of the territories belonging to the former Kingdom of Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire was on the ropes.
The most Christian Turk, the most Christian ravager of Christendom. What?
It was King of France, Louis XIV, who came to the rescue of the Ottomans. Louis intended to create a more easily defensible frontier for France, seizing the required lands by force. Eager to intimidate the German princes, Louis ordered his forces to cross the Rhine in the autumn of 1688. However, he badly misjudged the political mood inside the Holy Roman Empire and Europe itself. Instead of backing down in the face of French arms, the princes of empire rallied around the emperor and were ready to fight against Louis. William of Orange and Charles II of Spain also joined the alliance. Instead of a short war of intimidation, the conflict turned into a 9-year-long war of attrition.
Bro, what? How the hell have I never heard of this? What?
Starting in
I've never heard of this until now. I only heard about Louis XIV apparently being like the best ruler of France ever, or something like that, or monarch of France.
1689, the bulk of the imperial forces were redeployed against the French, which gave the Ottoman Empire the breather it needed. Max Emanuel was transferred from Hungary to take command of the imperial forces in the Rhineland. Eugene of Savoy served as his capable lieutenant general throughout the campaign of 1689. For the campaign of 1690, he was transferred to the Italian frontier, where he joined his cousin Victor Amadeus of Savoy. Newly promoted to general of the cavalry, his rise in the ranks continued. He was frustrated by Victor's military decisions, but skillfully saved his cousin's army after the defeat at the Battle of Staffarda, allowing the Allied forces to retreat in good order, rather than in a disorganized rout. The Allies usually outnumbered the French in northern Italy. Still, as they were made up of a mixture of imperial, Savoyard and Spanish forces, cooperation was often difficult. Eugene did not hide his frustration when he wrote back to Vienna.
Bro, I'm listening to this. This is the same thing, same soundtrack that Epic History TV uses.
That had everyone done their duty, they would have beaten the French long ago. Despite his criticisms, Eugene equipped himself well in his subordinate commander roles and was promoted to the rank of Field Marshal in 1693. Italy, however, proved to be a sideshow in the war, and the conflict there ended earlier than in other parts of Europe.
I honestly feel like Italy just always just has been the side theater of a lot of major wars in Europe. Like, even the most recent major, like, European spanning war, which was what, World War II? Italy was literally a sideshow, even though the freaking Allies, like, Italy was like the first spot, like, the Allies landed on continental Europe. It was literally just a sideshow.
Disheartened by the reverses and fearing the increase of imperial influence in his country, Victor Amadeus left the alliance early in 1696. He sabotaged the war effort in the final years, and Eugene could never trust him thereafter. The war against the Ottoman Empire continued. Besides the war against the Habsburgs, the Ottomans were fighting against Venice, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and Russia.
Ah, yes, Russia. The country that just always whoop the Turks. Like, didn't Russia beat, like, freaking Ottoman Empire, like, 50 times? Like, what was the deal with that? Holy crap, man. Like, freaking hell. What was the deal with that? And, you know, looking at this region now, actually, this is our early 18th century. If we look at this region right here, in what's now modern day Ukraine, I mean, this is literally controlled by like so many different parties, right? It's like eventually Russia would eventually come to control this region, of course, the borderland, of course, and they would be settled, of course, by, you know, Rus people. Of course, there were already Rus people here, but again, you know, looking at this, it's just like. Like no, that whole Ukrainian identity thing, just like no, sorry, might ruffle some feathers, but just this whole region here, like, there's never really been like a Ukrainian state ever. That's so modern, dude. Like, whatever. I don't know. I just see this border here, and it just popped in my head to like point it out, really and truly, right? Like, these lands here would eventually be taken by Russia, of course, and, you know, be a part of the Russian Empire. And I'm saying this because I'm seeing so many people who are saying that these lands are like Ukrainian lands, and I'm like, yeah, no, I disagree with you. If anything, these lands are Russian lands, not Ukrainian lands, frankly speaking. So, all right, let's continue.
The 1690 counteroffensive saw the Ottomans lay siege to Belgrade. After just 6 days, its garrison surrendered. A local uprising by the energetic Emmerich Tokoi prevented any Habsburg army from relieving the city. At the cost of losing Belgrade, the Habsburgs managed to save Transylvania. Still, with the bulk of the German armies deployed against the French, the Habsburgs simply lacked the numbers to continue their initial successes, and a stalemate developed.
So basically, France saved Turkey, well, the Ottoman Empire. Well, Turkey is basically the remnant of the Ottoman Empire, I should say. Same country, just a different government, I should say. Yeah, same country, different government. So basically, France saved the Ottoman Empire from basically losing all of the Balkans and maybe most likely being kicked out from Europe. So basically, it's because of France that the decline of the Ottoman Empire slowed down. Wow, okay.
Some minor battles occurred, such as the Battle of Slankamen in 1691. Thanks to their highly mobile light cavalry, the Ottomans still posed a considerable danger in skirmishes and raids.
Oh yeah,
In 1695, the Elector of Saxony, Augustus the Strong, became the commander of the Habsburg forces. The young and inexperienced commander turned out to be an uninspired choice. Following the Habsburg defeat at Belgrade, the Ottomans, led by the new Sultan Mustafa II, scored a string of victories at the battles of Lugos, Ulas, and Seney. Many contemporaries blamed Augustus for the reverses, though luckily for the Habsburgs, these victories, though no doubt lifted the Ottoman morale, gained them no lasting strategic advantage. As the warring parties entered the year 1697, most people probably expected the stalemate to continue. One ambitious imperial commander had other plans. With the war on the Italian front ending in 1696, Field Marshal Eugene of Savoy was transferred to the Danubian frontier for next year's campaign. Augustus resigned his command in 1696 to pursue the throne of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Eugene replaced him. Eugene finally received what can be called his first independent command.
Wow, finally. I've been waiting all this time. Everybody giving me this hype about this guy.
The victories of the previous 2 years emboldened the Sultan.
Bloody hell.
In 1697, he took to the offensive.
Alright,
he departed from Edirne in April. It is estimated that his army numbered between 60,000 and 100,000 soldiers. The huge Ottoman force reached Belgrade on August the 11th. Eugene's army facing them numbered around 70,000 in total. His situation was anything but rose-colored. By July, the supplies were scarce. At most, there were provisions and arms to cover around half of his army.
Yo, how in the hell are you... How do you manage to... What the heck? Only half? And he has like 70,000... Whoa!
Contingents of imperial soldiers had to be diverted to quell minor revolts. It would not be an exaggeration to state that simply holding together the army was a feat in itself. Able commanders such as Guido Starhemberg certainly aided Eugene. The Viennese court sent Eugene strict orders to remain on the defensive. However, this was not something the ambitious commander intended to adhere to. When Eugene received intelligence about the movements of the Ottoman forces, he decided to concentrate most of his available manpower around Petrovaradin, a town north of Belgrade. By the time the concentration of troops was realized, he had around 50,000 soldiers under his command. Emmerich Tokoi advised the Sultan to march east rather than north. The Sultan agreed, and they headed toward the now Habsburg-held Transylvania. The Ottomans reached the river Tisa on September 10th and began to ford the river the next day. The engineers did a superb job. However, even taking into consideration the skill of the engineers, for such a force to pass from one side of the river to the other took considerable time.
I mean, yeah,
during this time,
huge.
The army was virtually split into two, and such fordings always held an element of danger.
Yep.
Thanks to the accurate information relayed to him by his scouts, Prince Eugene was fully aware of the activity and the whereabouts of the Ottoman army, and he now saw the perfect opportunity to strike a deadly blow against the temporarily divided Ottoman army.
I mean, of course, I think anybody... I don't even think this is like a genius idea. I think this is literally common sense. You, the enemy split. Obviously, you're going to take advantage of that. You'd be actually quite dumb to not do anything. But
Unlike the Imperials, the Ottomans were largely in the dark about the movements of their enemies. Had they known just how close Prince Eugene's army was to them, they probably would not have attempted to ford the river.
Wow. So the Ottomans were not. Wow. Okay, that's actually really stunning to me. That's very stunning to me.
Despite the arrival of strict orders not to attempt any risky offensive, Prince Eugene decided to attack the Turks while they were still fording the river. He force-marched his army on the 11th of September and arrived at the scene of the Ottomans crossing the river by the late afternoon.
September 11th. Okay, so I guess this day does have another significance other than 2001.
Just as the sun began to set.
Oh my gosh.
Once he arrived, Prince Eugene personally inspected the strategic situation. He saw that the Ottomans built strong defenses on both sides of the bridge. According to his estimates, the interior ditch was about 500 paces long on either side.
I don't know how long that is.
Behind it, there were wagons and around 100 guns in defensive positions.
That's wow.
Ahead of the interior ditch, there was a slightly longer, around 1,000 paces long, circumvallation which was meant to reach the river.
That's what she said.
Sorry. I had to say that.
But the arrival of Eugene's army did not leave enough time to finish these works. As the Turks were not defending the ditches in great numbers, Eugene now saw the perfect opportunity to order an all-out assault.
Yeah, just go right out.
Despite the 10 hours of forced march, Prince Eugene attacked almost
10 hours, bro. I gotta go to work today for like 11 hours. Ugh.
Immediately. He lined up cavalry on the two flanks, infantry in the middle, and ordered an all-out assault against the Ottoman troops. By this time, the Sultan, most of his cavalry and part of the infantry were on the other side of the Tisa, but most of the infantry, with the Grand Vizier and the artillery, was yet to cross. The Imperial cavalry on the left was the first one to engage the enemy when they repelled an attempt from the Ottomans to break out. Once the Ottoman attack was repelled, Guido Starhemberg, who was in command of the left flank, in turn led a counterattack, but his troops were repelled by the Ottoman guns.
Oh yeah, those guns are...
The Imperial troops opened artillery fire as well.
Alright, we got a shootout here.
While Starhemberg's attack was momentarily checked, the Imperial center and right descended into the Ottoman trenches and steadily pushed them back in a brutal melee. Seeing the distress of his troops, the Grand Vizier led a cavalry attack against the Imperial left. But his attack was repelled, and Starhemberg's counterattack nearly penetrated as far as the Ottoman bridge. Prince Eugene sent reinforcements from the center to Starhemberg.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This low-key, like, this low-key got me having goosebumps right now. Like, what that? My brain is not braining. I think it's because it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. Oh,
the Imperials were
like this is really
to cut off the only retreat the Ottomans had.
Oh yeah.
Seeing their route of escape threatened, many from the Ottoman camp tried to flee while they still could. Artillery bombardments against the bridge caused it to collapse.
Oh,
what followed was an utter massacre as the surrounded and overwhelmed
GG gone. Yeah, they're all gonna get slaughtered
Ottomans
now.
Tried to swim across the river, only to drown in it.
Oh man!
With the cohesion of the defenders broken.
Oh, freaking hell! I swear, drowning is like one of my worst fears of dying, dude. Like, oh my god! Like, imagine this. Like, I say this a few times on my videos, but like people say that drowning was peaceful, because it's like one of my worst just one of my like fears freaking while dying, man. I actually did some like digging and some research into like stories of people who survived drowning and who passed out, like were basically at the point where they almost died from it. And they all literally stated that it feels like you're going to sleep. They all say at first you're like struggling, everything you're panicking, and everything's like is hectic at first. But then when the water completely fills your lungs, you know, you're just there, and then you start to feel like you're just falling asleep. And they say it's very comfortable actually. So I'm like, that's very interesting.
The Imperials massacred the Ottomans. By the time the battle was over, Prince Eugene won a decisive victory. In total, Eugene lost around 700 dead and another 1,900 wounded, while the Ottoman losses numbered between 20,000 and 30,000 killed, wounded, and
holy bro, I can't even like do my reactions the way I want because the freaking left side of my jaw muscle hurts on the freaking left side. Oh, right here, man. Oh my gosh, man. If you've been watching my stuff, man, you actually probably saw when I was like doing the reaction. I freaking hurt my jaw muscle. Interestingly enough, it's probably because I have a freaking overbite. And any braces. Actually, I mean, you will be seeing me with braces. 2025, new year, new me. Hilariously enough. But yeah, when you have an overbite, you know, you get that type of stuff like jaw pain. So I can't really like, I can do it sometimes, but if I like move my jaw muscle around to it, it is gonna hurt like hell. And you could see my overbite because if you actually pay attention to me in my videos, you'll notice that my lips my lips look full. That's not how my lips actually are. That's because of my overbite. So yeah, I do need to wear braces. You're gonna see me with braces eventually.
Besides losing from a third to a fifth of his army, the Sultan lost more than 100 guns, at the highest count of 160. His treasury, supplies, food, and ammunition.
He lost his oh no, yeah, that's it, man. His treasury. How the hell do you not cross your treasury first? What?
Several thousand wagons, and some humiliating personal losses, like the seal of the Sultan and his sword. Seeing
my brother in
the disaster unfolding, the Sultan was only a helpless spectator, and after his forces on the other side of the river were overwhelmed, he fled to Temeshvar and then to Istanbul. The victory at Zenta was enough to tilt the balance of power decisively in favor of the Habsburgs. Though the fighting continued for another 14 months, during which time Eugene raided the Balkans and sacked Ottoman-held Sarajevo, the outcome of the long Turkish War was decided at Zenta. The warring sides signed the Treaty of Karlovitz on January 26, 1699. According to the treaty, the Ottomans formally ceded the Egri Eyali, Varat Eyali, Budin Eyali, and parts of the Temeshvar and Bosnia Eyali to the Austrian Habsburgs.
Take a shot every time he says Eyali.
Most of Podalia to Poland, Lithuania, parts of the Dalmatian coast and Morea to Venice. Negotiations with Russia continued for another year, but in 1700 the Ottomans ceded Azov to the Russians. The Ottomans also lost an important vassal.
And hilariously enough, you know, again, you know, this region that's now apparently Ukrainian. Well, like where? Like there is no semblance of any type of Ukrainian like identity or presence there. I mean, yes, there were Ruthenians, you know, but Ruthenians does not mean Ukrainian. That's what the Ukrainians literally call themselves. And Ruthenian is just another way / translation of just saying Rus person, right? It's just, which is where the name Russia comes from. It stems from the word Rus. right? So it's like, where, dude? Like this, like they were all just Rus people living in that region, right? You know, from different principalities, different freaking Rus principalities, or if it, or I should say, like, I don't know, descendants or remnants of that, because some of those Rus principalities, like Kiev Rus, yeah, that got destroyed and completely thrown into the books of history. But whatever, dude, whatever. It's just weird how nobody like talks about the fact that the region that's now Ukraine, it doesn't really have like any type of like unique Ukrainian history, aside from the modern era. Like this whole region has been controlled by so many different powers. It's just that, you know, Russia was just the last power to really keep control over it, right? You know, that's why it's, you know, I see people say like Crimea, like, oh, but the Crimean Tartars, bro, the Crimean Tartars. Yeah, the Tartars actually, you know, were you know, I don't even think the Tartars were indigenous to Crimea, but they were there for a long time. But again, the Russian Empire controlled it last, so you know, Russia has more claimant to that region, quite frankly speaking. But that's a whole different topic for me. I'm just bringing this up because I might bring this up in some of my other more controversial videos in the future. Because I've done these controversial videos in the past before. Even though I tend to lose a lot of subscribers whenever I do it. Anyways.
The Principality of Transylvania, which was to be governed from that point on by governors named by Vienna. Karlovitz brought an end to the Great Turkish War that lasted for 14 years. However, peace in early modern Europe seldom lasted for long. In less than 2 decades, the Ottomans clashed with Russia as they recaptured Azov, and with Venice as they recaptured Morea. However, their attempts to retake Hungary failed. Once again, Eugene of Savoy would be at the forefront of thwarting their attempts to seize Hungary. If you stayed around this far,
I honestly love this series. I love early modern history. Early modern history is probably my favorite time, my favorite historical period of time. Mostly because early modern history was when my country was colonized and first settled. That was actually why I even got into history in the first place, right? Because I was learning the history of my country, and you know, it just, you know, it just branched off from there, right? Anyways, you made it all the way to the end of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for me, go comment it down below. I love this series, man. I heard that he did not complete the series. Quite sad. That's unfortunate. Go check out my other reactions on my channel though, man. Thank you for watching and goodbye.